Welcome back. You are with Newsday. The airline Bonza says 40 airports around Australia have now expressed interest in hosting the new budget startup. The airline plans to fly 8 aircraft within 12 months of its launch next year. The news has prompted a warning from Alan Joyce, who says Qantas is prepared to defend our turf against the new market entrant. Joining with us with more is Jeffrey Thomas, the editor at airlineratings.com and the aviation editor at the West Australian. Good to see you. Thank you for your time. Just how competitive can Bonza be? Does it really pose any threat to the bigger airlines?
Well, it's a really interesting business model. It really doesn't challenge the big airlines. It's not going to be on that golden triangle from Brisbane, Sydney to Melbourne and the Gold Coast. Add one more city into that. What it's doing is it's targeting routes that they have ignored. For instance, if you want to go from Adelaide to Broome, you've got to go through Perth. Now, it's one of the routes they may look at is Adelaide-Broome. They may look at Adelaide Exmouth. So their business model is to connect the dots that are currently not connected with really low airfares and develop new markets. It's very similar to what Ryanair have done in Europe and what Allegiant have done in the United States. And Allegiant United States, 70% of their routes have no competition at all. So I see this as a brand new model for Australia, and I think it's going to be very successful.
So they haven't actually outlined which destinations they'll be targeting, because I do see that Qantas and Rex, for that matter, are saying, well, what are these different routes? Because they think they've got the market covered already.
Well, they think they have, but for instance, no one's flying from Adelaide to Broome, no one's flying from Perth to Byron Bay, so they haven't got it covered. And they absolutely have not, because those 40 airports, multiply it all out, approximately 200 new routes that are not served at the moment. Okay. I think it's very exciting.
So what sort of airline experience is Bonza looking to give us? Is it like a Jetstar style, buy your own meal, or is it more premium? What are they going for?
They're going for the EasyJet Jetstar type product with, all the offerings on board that you can option up, maybe even champagne. You buy your way up to the experience that you want. It really is an ultra low fare airline, and one of the things that's very encouraging for them is not only have 40 airports said pick me, 4,000 staff have said pick me. So there's a lot of enthusiasm and interest in what they're doing, and the really interesting part is that their backers are a Miami-based investment company, 777 Partners, who have 2 airlines. Bonza's one, Flair in Canada is the other, and they've just ordered yesterday 30 more 737s, taking their order book to 68 737s. So it just gives you a sense of what sort of backing that Bonza's got.
Yeah, and well, for customers, it's always good to have a bit more competition in the air. I see the ACCC has actually just been saying this week that we could be the beneficiaries of a bit of a airline price war, essentially, between the bigger players. How cheap are we talking?
I think it's going to be a bloodbath, quite frankly. You've got Rex, Virgin, Jetstar and Qantas slugging it out to maintain their market share and or grab market share in the case of Rex. You're talking Jetstar type fares in the $50 between points. You're talking the other ones, 60s, in the mid-60s. They're the sorts of lead-in fares, and I think they could even get lower into the new year. It's going to be pretty savage. It really is, and it'll be a great time to fly.
And is this just because they're encouraging us to fly again, essentially?
Yes, they are encouraging us to fly. It's also a turf war, a lot of extra capacity coming into the market. But the other thing is people need an incentive to fly. There's still this nervousness about COVID and lockdowns and restrictions, but there's nothing like a really good cheap airfare to say, well, I don't care, I'll do it. And that's what they're looking for.
And have we seen that over this holiday period, for example, when it comes to bookings? Obviously, borders are starting to reopen, families want to get together again over Christmas. Are people being a bit cautious, though? I mean, the paperwork that goes with getting on a plane is still pretty odious.
It is, and there are all sorts of issues. But yes, the bookings are surging. There's all sorts of offers there, frequent flyer offer seats available all through the Christmas period. There's all sorts of incentives out there to kind of offset the hassle that's there. And I think into next year, although international borders are opening, I believe that people are still going to want a holiday at home for some time because, domestic flying is one challenge. Overseas is a step further again, and I think a lot of folks are going to say, well, leaving aside New Zealand, they're going to say, let's holiday close to home.
And what is the airline schedule looking like at the moment? I mean, if I wanted to, in March next year, jump on a plane to London, am I going to find that there's only one flight a week, or what are we looking at?
Those flights are ramping up, and the fares are amazing. I mean, you go online and think, wow, no problems. You know, you've got A380s coming into Sydney, A380s going into Melbourne. You know, the capacity's coming into the market big time.
And are we having issues with the vaccine passports now, or do you think that those have sort of been ironed out?
Not that I'm aware of. There are still delays, there are still issues, but I think by the time March, people start saying, okay, I'm going to fly in March, April, these problems will be ironed out and it'll be a little bit more seamless than it is at the moment.